Bannerlord can be a brutally hard game. Often you're outnumbered and massive armies march against you. Well, in this new series, we're going to work together, friends. What I want you to do is send me your difficult situations that you're either currently encountering in Bannerlord in your campaign, or something that you've dealt with in the past where you're just unable to solve it. I will do my very best to handle these difficult situations. I will share the results on YouTube, provided they have some kind of educational value for people. We will take on these difficult challenges, do some battlefield analysis, and hopefully help you turn around a very, very difficult battle. So join me on this adventure. Please send me your difficult situations. Have a little patience. I don't know how many there are going to be, but I'm willing to take these challenges on for you fellas as we handle your disasters of war. Should be one of these here, and that looks like it. Mike Reddit, that's what I named it here. We've got a few mods that we're using that he's not using. He did say vanilla, so maybe he's not using any mods at all for this campaign, which makes me wonder. Achievements are disabled due to unofficial modules. The base game does not like the RTS mod, so maybe we will have to load this up with no mods. We shall see here. Anyways, here's our fella from YouTube, from Reddit. Welcome back again. This is YouTube. Welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. And we have another gentleman who has written in here. His name is Mike. And he says he needs help with this siege. Now, I'm just kind of sort of looking around, seeing what we've got going on here. Mike is a pretty low level, newer character in this campaign, looks like. He's got an army of 85 troops, a very, very slight equipment here. It looks like he just sold everything probably. And a crossbow skill with no shield. So we'll put the higher level bolts up there. You know, you always want to have the higher damage bolts up front, especially for siege defense, because those are the ones that you'll default to. In fact, we'll try to find a shield somewhere. There's not much I can do here, right, with the equipment or banners or anything like that. It seems like a cut and dry situation, and honestly, it seems like a situation where we should be able to win easily, but, you know, don't judge a book by its covers. Now, the siege had not started until we began, but it has now, so can't really do much here, and it looks like he's playing on very low, very easy difficulty. So what we'll do here, this first battle, whoops, I should have hit watch. We will watch this battle for a minute or two here with the RTS mod. I like to do this just to sort of see what this fella's dealing with in the campaign. Let's see, we'll just fly over the battlefield here. Saronia is a really unique city in Bannerlord. A lot of the cities in Bannerlord, especially Imperial cities, seem sort of redundant, but this city is highly unique. Both of the siege towers head towards the right of the city here. The left of the city has sort of a high elevated platform. The angles are a little challenging at times for archers. And notice that, right, as Mike is the defender here, gets almost all of his troops to start this battle. We're not using the battle size mod. I wanted to limit how many mods we were using here because he said he was just playing vanilla. So, this is going to be interesting. I wonder why he's losing here, but, you know, without looking at the units, I think it's safe to say I can actually see it from this blimp mode. There's a lot of weak troops here inside Saronia. Now, Mike has a tiny army. It's very difficult to sway a big siege like this with a tiny army, but we will look for little things that we can try to improve in this first example here. In this, this is the AI playing your character, Mike. Don't worry, we won't bungle it as bad as the AI is being here. Just a complete dipshit putting your horse on the wall. He's like looking over. That's about as bizarre as it can get. Now, again, I observe very low-level units here for the defenders of Saronia, and presumably the Sturgeons have a very strong army. Now, I like this, right? They've got a bit of a tactic straight off the channel here, right? A big group of archers. They've got a flanking infantry here, in fact. That's almost textbook from the channel. Wouldn't it be nice if the channel, literally got put into the AI, right? And the defenders started using it. Now here, eventually this is going to break down, and Mike is in here fighting. More accurately, the AI, look, he's just barreling forward. He charged right off and got killed. So it looked brilliant, and then he cratered into the dirt. Don't worry, Mike. We'll play your character better than that catastrophe. And again, just this first minute or two to see this siege layout, but also we do this as a baseline for the channel. Right now they're winning, right? You have to say they're winning at least. It's close. The defenders, that is, are winning. And so again, it makes me feel like maybe we can succeed. But I notice a couple things here. Tons and tons of raggedy militia, and the Sturgeons are just gleaming with iron and steel, very high-end troops. They just blew open the main gate. That little courtyard there is somewhat defendable, but not when you have all your archers executed on the walls. So I was saying seconds ago that they're winning, and it just dissolved. And here's the other thing to remember, too. They've only killed 300 and something. The Sturgeons here have 900. So we have to achieve a kill ratio of almost 1.5 to 1. 2 to 1 is probably a safer margin, and the death spam is not 1.5 to 1, right? There's big flushes of red here as our weak force gets crushed. And even these reinforcements coming in don't look like recruits, right? So the Sturgeon force here is much stronger in unit quality than Mike's, and the results are a foregone conclusion here. No doubt something was going to occur that would make it more obvious why Mike was having such a hard time here. So, you know, we're going to try to strategize here. We've got some opportunities here to create some crossfire. The problem, though, is it's very difficult to defend over here and keep an eye on your troops on the other side, right? So we're going to have to be very nimble here. We have no siege weapons. I just realized I haven't seen a single siege weapon fire off, and that makes me wonder if none were ever built. So we will reload this and take a look at that. All right, we are loading, and just a few less mods here just so that we get rid of that achievement thing. Damn, it's still going off. So even though we took almost all of our mods, I think it's objecting to the RTS mod. Now we're going to do an ambush in this battle. I think it makes sense. He doesn't have any siege weapons built. You see that? So Mike, you got to build those when you're in charge. It says you are commanding the defenders. That means you have to build those siege weapons. Now we're going to fight this battle here and all of the battles in this series on the hardest difficulty, right? We will use Bannerlord.
Under my command.
You know, we obviously want to succeed for this series, but that's not the primary goal, right? Whoops. Stupid console thing. With the exception of when guys are like, please send me my save game back. You know, we're not, he did not say that, so presumably he has some way around this siege we're going to be able to make do here. Now, this is an ambush. If guys have never seen this before, it's a little bit of a gimmicky system because the AI here, the defender, has hardly any troops, and we're given a bunch of elite troops, so they're basically caught with their pants down. It's not very realistic. They would have all kinds of units around guarding their siege, you know, especially if it was vulnerable to this, but it's a game mechanic for Bannerlord. And the benefit of this, of course, is that what you can do is you can delay the enemy here, maybe even kill some of their troops. So we have cavalry attacking their siege weapons. Their ram is being defended, right? They have a bunch of infantry here and archers, a few handful of noble units around it, but they don't have any ranged units, right? A couple of noble units are not going to stop our archers, right? So we're going to move in here for the kill. These are timed events, and what I mean by that is you have about a minute, maybe 2 minutes before the AI sort of pulls their pants up and they get reinforcements. If I remember right, they misspell it. It's reinforcements. Of course, I'm sure they speak better Turkish tail worlds than I speak, or better English than I speak Turkish, right? This is a Turkish company. Sometimes we forget that. Us westernized folk. All right, so we're going to try to destroy as many of these siege weapons as we can before we rush back into the city. More accurately, you can just hit retreat. It's sort of gimmicky. You don't even have to get your troops inside the city. Mid-battle, you can just retreat and accept and save all those delicious results. All of these results will carry over. So if we kill 30 troops here, they will lose those from the siege. However, if all 30 are injured, it really doesn't mean much. And there it is. Reinforcements have arrived. The enemy is a Fokker here, and they are being Fokkered pretty bad. They're still defending their ram pretty well, but our cavalry is making work of the other siege weapons. The crossbow here, oh shit, we lose a horse. Our crossbow here is going to town, just gunning in there left and right. Not too difficult a situation. You can see there's 56 infantry coming and 3 archers, right? It's a huge disadvantage for the AI here to have no archers. because we can just shoot them at range, right? They're sort of like a bunch of infantry facing 200 horse archers. Now, I think we've destroyed everything but that ram. So we're going to start moving our units over here. I'm actually going to steal this guy's horse. Give me your horse, dude. Whoops, not hold fire. Just give me your horse. You can shoot. Get these guys back on their horse. We're going to destroy this last siege tower here while the going is good, right? We're not being swarmed by the enemy. The other thing that's odd is the enemy never gets cavalry. It's like they set all their horses free before this ambush process, or they're eating grain or something like that in the paddock before the battle starts. We just catch the enemy with their pants down. I guess what I mean by these are way too easy. You can easily destroy the enemy's siege weapons without them being able to really do anything at all. Here they come over sort of haplessly. More enfrancments are inbound, so you know we will make a retreat. I'm trying to make fun of that word somehow. I can't think of a good way to do it, but reinforcements, you know, we'll make sure we don't get our forces get reinforced on both sides, and you just hit retreat, and that's all there is to it. Now they have to rebuild siege, right? So that gives us an opportunity to build these catapults, and I'm quite sure that Mike either didn't know or just forgot to build siege here. This is a thing. You know, you're building up those siege weapons, and we are being bombarded pretty hard by their siege. I didn't see they have ballistas, so we're going to put it in reserve here. We're going to have a siege. It's just a question of what are the settings, right? Is it a better situation than the previous one? And this definitely is, right? We have 2 catapults up. They have ballistas and an onager. So maybe it's a small gain for us right here. That ambush, I think we killed maybe 15 or 20 troops. We lost about 10 of Mike's troops. I would say it was barely advantageous. And I say that because a lot of guys are huge on the reinforcement, on the ambush part of Bannerlord. I find it to be of marginal value. It has a little bit of value in certain circumstances, but not a whole lot here. So again, we'll fight this siege with Bannerlord difficulty and try to pull this one off for you, Mike. And this is challenging to say the least. That siege tower is not built, so they're going to have siege ladders. Now, I also think you could send troops here, right? I think that's definitely a thing. I will talk about that, although I will leave that up to Mike to decide in his game. What I mean by that is the auto-resolve system really favors the defenders. I think there's a pretty decent chance if you just sent troops here, you would win, Mike. Although, you know, maybe it's not quite because your army's so weak, right? You do have a pretty weak army. And no offense, I mean the force that's in the city is weak, right? Your own army itself looks good for a little army of 85. Pretty stout. You got a bunch of tier 4 and 5 units. Some tier 6 even. All right, so let's come up with the collaborative plan here. I say collaborative because just like this episode where we're working with, this is a fella from Reddit looked us up. And of course, you know, we're hoping to continue to branch out and have people participate in this series. We get a lot of good feedback about this, and it is a good way for me to communicate, contact, and collaborate with you fellas, the viewers. You guys send in your save game here. I made a post, or Mike made a post and said, hey, who's the guy who does this shit? And I said, hey, that's me, man. I'll do this shit for you. We're going to try to collaborate here, though, with the Allied forces. Let's sit up for this shit. I don't like losing, and I don't like doing these more than once, so let's win on the first try here. The power bar looks great, but I'll remind you, we get extra troops for some reason at the beginning of this battle. In other words, even though they outnumber us in the pre-battle situation, we get 60% of the troops at the beginning, and they're outnumbered. I guess that's just a defensive advantage. Now we're going to try to use this courtyard here. There's some good angles here, but the enemy's going to be coming from our right, and that concerns me. Right? It's highly disconcerting because we're not going to be able to shoot them very much with our archers as they're coming up. This is nice though, right? We're going to be able to rack up 20, 30, 40 kills here for Mike as the enemy comes in with our siege weapon. You want to take full advantage of this. Of course, in the first run, Mike. That sergeant crossbow over there. I'll probably slow-mo that. He got hit by a cannonade and he went flying through the air. Mike with capital letters is gaining levels here. And this is looking pretty likely. Now I think their catapult just got just got destroyed. Those same guys that got launched through the air. Look at those pieces of the catapult laying on the ground. That's not good, right? Because guess where the next shots of those catapults are coming? They're coming at us, right? We're gonna get bombarded here. And unfortunately, unfortunately, the ram is now protecting those troops as they come in. So we're probably dead meat if we stay here too long. On normal player damage, you can get one shot by a catapult, right? Like that shit coming in. Let's get the fuck out of here, man. I would love to get one more shot off here, but I don't think we can hit these guys. They're a little bit too close. We can sort of throw these, and Mike does have a crossbow, but he's got, you know, pretty low-level skill here. We're not going to be killing troops left and right. I think he has like 30 or 40 crossbow skill or something. It was really low. It actually, I don't know, it might be my memory. It seemed like you had more throwing skill than crossbow, which is actually going to be fine because we are going to throw some boulders here at the enemy. You can only kill one with those for some reason, but the ones that are inside the gatehouse, we can kill half dozen at a time. Can't even hit him with these. I'd better get out of here. I'm really pushing my luck, getting bombarded here. Yeah, I just wanted to demonstrate. You kill one guy. So, I mean, it's probably faster than you can kill with a crossbow, but I would say it's of marginal value at best to throw these. You want the fireballs, right? Siege skill 150. You get these fireballs, and that's a whole new ball game in Bannerlord, right? Instead of killing one guy, you kill 12. All right, let's see if these rocks are here. They are. Nobody's throwing them except us, right? So, Mike, let's see if we can get you another level here. Handing out more concussions than the NFL. Die, you bastard. As they get fucking brained by rocks being chucked on their head. I can't believe he hasn't gained a level yet. This is really good for your throwing skill. I think you also get athleticism from this too, which I guess makes a little bit of sense, right? You're picking up a big heavy object and firing it at people. You would get more athletic, right? You'd have to gauge distances or whatever the fuck. But what we want is we want to kill, right? And we're not killing tons of guys here, but each hit is doing hundreds of damage collectively, right? 76. Like if you add up these hits, and there's a level. If you add up these hits, we're doing 300, 400, 500 a rock. Right? That's tremendous. You could never do that on foot. All right, killed some militia guy who's just in there trying to help. Hold the walls. We got a guy up there helping him. He just gets killed by a rock. I don't know. I'm a psycho. I love it when little animatronic units get mauled. All right, we better get out of here before we join the defeated. There's been a number of explosions right around us here, and we've been lucky to survive. I want to get some archers up here because we do have a little bit of crossfire on the enemy as they come up. It's not a great angle, though. The enemy definitely is a long distance away here, and the front gate is going to be the priority. It looks kind of grim, though, right? We've got very weak, very weak militia with pitchforks down there. These archers that are up here, shit. No, stand still. These archers here are tier 2. It's not like they're going to be smoking everybody. And that's one of the interesting things of this challenge. It's very much, you know, you're being tossed into somebody's game. Obviously, it's voluntarily, but boy, it's jarring, right? It's like jumping into somebody's car. You're used to 300 horsepower and it has 120, and you try to pass on the highway and you get killed by a semi because your vehicle can't accelerate. It's jarring, right? So we're going to do the best we can here. Now, this is disconcerting too. Why are sturgeons, they're going right by the militia. The militia's like kind of standing back there, letting these guys get by them. We got to get up here, right? We've got coward militia. These guys all want to go home to their wives. We're going to have to defend this exit here, or entrance here, vigorously, right? I'm having a hard time seeing. Let's get this archer division over here. We've got to have a little archer support here. Now, this city on level 1 walls might actually be easier to defend because we're not so high up. You can put archers down there below us in the alleys and streets, and it does a really good job of defending. All right, let's smoke some of these guys here. I got an infantry division. It looks like the sturgeons are trying to go down the ladder. They're facing the wrong way, and they're just kind of, it's like they're hesitant about coming up here. So I'm not quite certain what's going on here. They're attacking our archers. They're killing our archers. God damn it. I get some guys that are like, hey, I don't mind the swearing, but I can't handle the blasphemy. I presume, you know, the G-O-D-D-A-M-N is still, to some people in certain religious circles, like a big no-no, right? We're not trying to offend anybody here. It's just the mouth I've acquired with 30 years in the fire service and a stint in the United States Coast Guard. You tend to We tend to swear a lot, right? It's just a nature of the job. Military, almost all ex-military has a little bit of a potty mouth. Sometimes we work directly with the Navy, and they definitely have a potty mouth. All right, let's get some of these units sent towards the front here. I'm sort of depending on that right flank holding for a bit. I don't know how long it's going to hold, but I've got to observe these little chickens too. Make sure these chickens aren't being slaughtered by raccoons. So let's get archers up high here. It's really good crossfire for the gate. I like the situation right now. That division needs to be cleaned up, but I like it, right? We're just firing right into the gatehouse. It's a little reminiscent of Veron Castle, but what I'm worried about is behind us here, right? The gate, we're going to be able to pound the gate, and we have our own square there. The first division of 20 guys is a square right at the gate. It's here that I'm worried about, right? What is going to happen when the enemy blows out the other side there? And probably do some fighting down here. What I really want is a two-handed weapon. Even though Mike doesn't have a lot of two-handed skill, if we could get him a two-handed weapon here, working around a square, we can do major damage. And then Mike, you will get some extra two-handed skill just as a free bonus today. Hard time getting these divisions put in here with just the right angle. Now, one of the problems here is that the militia's not doing at all what I want them to do. In fact, they're doing the worst thing. They're kind of charging haplessly at the guys coming through the gate, and they're getting killed because it's like, you know, it's sergeants and sturgeon soldiers and line breakers, and we've got militia, right? Those guys are going to get butchered, and that's your death span, right? When it's infantry on infantry, that is like a line breaker smashing their way through a little pathetic militia who's like, we can't stop them, right? These guys are going to be routing soon, and then it's going to be down to just our 80 guys, and that is disconcerting. This side is sort of holding. It feels very tenuous right now. Oh shit, you see that coming. There's a bunch of sturgeons coming in a shield wall. We got problems here. We got big problems. I don't think those militia are going to last long. They're backpedaling like, what do we do here, boys? You get laid on your back is what happens. That guy, I shot one of our own militia. I might have just mercy killed that guy because instead he was going to get axed. We're fucked here. We got to back out of here. We're going to have to make a courtyard stand. 1, 2, 3. Let's grab all 3 of these divisions, pull them with us here. These archers are going to get caught on this ridge here unless we move them down. Let's see what we got going on here. I'm getting my units confused. God, the axemen are coming over the horizon there. Just going to try to get our archers out of here and help them beat feet by sort of, holding up our shield here and leading this vanguard. Let's just send our units to the other side over there, right? Just go, boys. We might be able to make a courtyard stand here, but right now it looks grim. There's a bunch of sturgeons. They have a bunch of tough infantry in this battle. And infantry is the hardest thing to deal with in a siege like this where you don't have great chokeholds, great choke, what do they call it? Choke points, right? We could do a chokehold too, that would work, but we need choke points and we don't have it here. This first division is just going to have to function right here. We'll set a square there opposite of our archers. We can charge with our other small infantry division, but now our archers can't see the enemy because that square is out of sight. We're in trouble. We're in real trouble here. Fuck. Now, Mike's got some short legs. No offense. Just an observation, bud. Maybe you're 6'5" in real life. And we got a courtyard mess here. I think we're cooked. Let's move this square towards the front. It's the only chance we have. Let's back these archers up. Oh, shit. We have like 25 minutes. Back these up just a little bit here. Now, the day is lost. That militiaman actually is the smartest guy here. He knows that this battle is over. We're not going to be able to win. So, we don't do this very often for the channel. Most of the time we're able to solve these in one try, but here, and Mike mentioned that in his email. He said, I've tried over and over to win this battle. I can't win it. I feel your pain, Mike. I've got thousands of hours playing Bannerlord, and I got laid on my back like a bitch. So, tough siege defense here. Now, we did play at the hardest difficulty. I think we might try this with lower difficulty because we didn't even get close. Let's reload this and contemplate how we can solve this situation. All right, well, we're reloaded here, but I also dumped all of our mods here. That way we don't get the achievements banned or whatever it is for using mods here. He actually said in one of his more recent emails that he would like this save game sent back to him after we've solved this. So the pressure's really on, right? Now we can't use the RTS mod. We can't use things that are sort of familiar to me with the standard mod list as far as UIs. So we're going to try and ambush again here, but I wanted to put his email up and explain that part. Sometimes fellas do want the save game back because they're stuck and they would like the solution. I still think, Mike, you could try sending troops here and it might work, but let's try an ambush again. Let's try doing some major damage to the enemy this time. We will sort of purposefully not only destroy the siege weapons, but we will destroy more of their troops. And then hopefully we can build a little bit more siege, have it be a little bit more effective. Because of course now everything's on the line. Now that the guy wants the save game back, right, we're going to be pressed even harder. Right now I feel compelled to try to save this guy's game. That said, again, the other thing you could do, and if I didn't mention it, I was thinking about it, you could escape from this city. You can say break out. It's one of the options in the siege menu, and basically you would exit the city. You'd lose 25, 30 troops, something like that, but at least you'd survive. All right, let's focus here, destroy some lords. We've got one tower down already. Let's attack the other one. We're going to find those damn ballistas and destroy those two. And try to get archers and infantry spread out here because I would like to assault the sturgeons that are here since this is advantageous to us. In other words, we have more troops than the enemy. During the siege, they have more than us, right? So you can see the power bar. The purple clearly favors us. So we're going to take advantage of this odd little mechanic here. Some people might say this is gimmicky. But when it comes to saving somebody's save game, we're going to do everything we can, especially since this is full vanilla. No cheats, no mods, nothing, right? Raw. That's why all of a sudden I'm having a hard time seeing our units, because we have the RTS mod turned off, right? This is basically how it would look, I presume, on a console as well, because we don't have any of the visual mods. We don't have the UI mods that I'm used to. If Mike's character goes down, right, we just have to exit the battle or let the AI stumble around. It's a lot harder to play like this. Some guys are like, do mods help you get better at Bannerlord? Of course. The RTS mod, come on, dude, get the fuck out of my way here. I'm kind of busy. The RTS mod is tremendously helpful. Not to mention, you know, it's good for cutscenes for a content maker like myself. It's essential. All right, we've got another ballista to destroy here. We've got that siege tower down, and now it's sort of about sort of combined, thoughtful destruction of the enemy force. As long as we're getting a 2 to 1 kill ratio, 3 to 1 kill ratio, it behooves of us to stay here. Now, how these work is the enemy keeps on getting more reinforcements, like a zombie apocalypse, until you lose. Basically, they just pour in troops, and eventually we'll have problems staying here, right? The deaths will start to occur. Right now, though, let's take advantage, right? Let's charge with the cavalry. The infantry can move back. I don't want those guys getting bored in on. Right, we will periodically charge with the infantry. I don't want them being outnumbered 20 or 30 to 1 or 30 to 6 by the enemy infantry. We'll take our opportunities where we can. We're going to seize this hill from these dipshit archers and then fire down on them with horse archers. The enemy still is hovering by their ram here. It's actually good strategy, right? Because we haven't destroyed it yet, and we must destroy this, right? So sending in cavalry to attack the ram, even though they're going to get attacked by infantry while they're doing that, and reinforcements are on the way, we're going to have to just push through this. Infantry's charging. It's getting ugly. We're losing troops. But I think it's still worth it to try to destroy this ram before we get out of here. That buys us enough time to build half a catapult, probably. And that's really what we're doing here. We're hoping to get a couple catapults built for the next round. Last battle, we had 1. It'd be nice to have 2. We're running guys over, and I think that's good, right? 5 guys injured, and we killed 50, right? You take your losses, or you take your victories and go. Now let's see how this works here. The last time they attacked us, it's variable, right? So they might attack right now with no ram at all and just rush up the siege ladders, although it does look like they're going to take a more concerted approach. Now I'm going to put our siege here in reserve because the enemy's siege seems to be superior to ours. And so it's destroying our little catapults, right? So now that we have a couple being built, I think we're a little more likely to have a chance of destroying their onager, their little siege onager there. At the same time, if they launched the siege if they launched it right now, we would have no siege weapons. So there's a little balance here that I'm sort of trying to hold, so that we have at least some siege, but they don't get destroyed by the enemy's siege weapons. Okay, almost got the second one built here. We can build these just in case the enemy is in no hurry this time. And tactically, what are we going to do here? Man, I'm really struggling, because a gate defense like that with those kind of angles that we had, if that doesn't work, what's going to work here in this city, right? I'm contemplating the far right side of the city. There is a good spot there to choke point the enemy and get archers spread out, but it's very, very tight. There's not enough room to get a lot of troops set up. Now we've got a third catapult being built here, and the enemy's still not attacking. And they're worse, they're destroying our catapults here, so... Huh. The first siege, they were like in a hurry to get it on. Now they seem to be taking a much more deliberate approach. The good news is we're slowly getting ahead in the catapult game here, right? Just like in pre-siege, you can do the little reserve there and then sort of build them at the same time. We're going to have two, a third one on the way. And we may have to just start speeding through this process. Usually by now, they've started the siege. You know, sometimes the AI is doing calculations and it doesn't like what it sees. I'm not quite certain. It'd be a very long time to starve us out. Now, I hope they siege, right? We just destroyed their siege weapons. I really want them to start the siege right now, right? We have two full catapults. We're working on a third. Who knows? We might even get the fourth one up here. Let's just fast forward this and see how long this takes. Sometimes we'll edit this, but, you know, other times I want to just keep this in an episode for the guys who struggle with this component of Bannerlord. It is a sort of complex process. This early siege process where you're sort of jousting with the enemy siege weapons. A lot of people, like, it never works. They always destroy my siege weapons. You've got to strategically put them in reserve. Now, to be fair, the tutorial doesn't talk about this at all, right? It's very difficult to learn about this kind of stuff from the game. If you don't go to social media, you're basically, you know, you're pissing straight in the wind, and I guess you get covered in urine. It's not a good experience. Now this is really wild. We're just, days are passing here. I hope it's not bugged or something like that. Let's see what's going on here. 99. We got plenty of money. I'm gonna hope they siege. 1, 2, 3. They're building ballistas, which is good because we can just pound those with our catapults. We've obtained a clear siege advantage over the enemy. We're probably gaining you some siege points there, Mike. And now we just need them to engage. We got 4 catapults. Man. I don't know. Maybe we're bugged. I'll wait another 20 seconds here and we will reload this, and then you guys will never hear all of this narration. That's how it works. I narrate and play live. So when things happen awkwardly, my wife comes in and is like, hey, did you go pick up that milk I wanted? I'm like, cut, and I have to redo a scene or something like that. This will work though. We've got 4 catapults. We're going to be able to pound the enemy here, at least the approach. We're going to make the enemy pay hard, and we're going to need to, right? Given the army they have, full of sturgeons, full of high-level infantry. In fact, I'm not going to worry about our units too much here. In a normal siege, I'm very concerned about putting guys in very specific spots, but here, I'm just not, right? I'd like a couple divisions spread out so that we can get this front gate defended a little bit. Let's see, how do we do this? Get a bodyguard division. But I'm going to try to essentially hold this left side, or right side rather, and what we're going to do with it is just try to do siege weapon damage en masse, right? I'm going to put the troops down in the courtyard or down in that little alley in reserve, while we try to pound the enemy with siege weapons. On the wall, they get shot. Down here, you know, they'll be nice and safe, and we can use them at our leisure. Got plenty of little, you know, blacksmith hammer wielding militia running up to the walls. Let's let them get shot to keep our units safe. Now that's siege tower. Okay, that one's getting hit. This one right here, I think we're going to be able to destroy one, maybe both of these. We've got 4 catapults. Now, we don't have any fire catapults, right? So our catapults are they're sort of the rounds that explode and fly all over the place. They're kind of inaccurate compared to a fire catapult, but they do good damage and they kill a lot of troops, right? We're going to be able to kill some troops here as well. And the enemy has very little to say about this. They don't have, it seems like, any catapults. Where we were getting bombarded that last battle, right here, we look good, right? So we're going to be able to destroy this. If not this hit, the next one. And then they'll be down just to the siege weapon on our left. We're in good shape here. In fact, we want to make sure we drill these little... Here they go. The siege tower just got destroyed. Let's hit these little scurrying rodents as they run from siege tower to siege tower. You hold up your shields there, you dipshits. We're going to be able to destroy both siege towers. This siege tower is clearly in our sights. And what I want to hit is I want to hit their troops right here. Just that satisfying sound. That sound. Just... And you get a level, Mike. Now, I think that's the first one, right? I don't want to confuse these episodes. That's one thing I hate about save scumming. Oh, shit. They already destroyed that one, too. So, we want to try to hit these guys a couple more times here as they scurry over to the ram. So that's it. The enemy only has the ram... And the odds of us winning this siege just doubled. It's not guaranteed, because they still have much, much better troops. But we're going to be able to hit them with a few more catapult rounds here on their way out. And then it's going to be defend the courtyard to the very, to the death, right? It's going to be a no mercy situation. God, I wish I could hit him on that walkway up there. I don't know if we can tilt it that far. Yeah, see, it won't turn anymore. If it turned more, we'd be able just to drill them with scores of scorching rounds. Let's try the other catapult that's over to our left, or our right here. We'll see if it doesn't. Don't shoot. Turn it. Turn it more. No. Give me this thing now, if you're not going to turn it. All right, here we go. The dead in our sights. We're at the maximum height for this thing, right? So this is its maximum range. Come on, baby. Damn, we're quite a bit short. So this isn't going to work either. Damn, this sucks, actually. We actually destroyed their siege towers too fast. If they survived, we'd be still pounding them with siege weapons. But now that they only have one entrance, ironically, the enemy's a lot safer than they would have been had we not destroyed their siege tower, right? We'd be pounding them out in the open and stuff like that. Instead, we do indeed have a courtyard battle to the very death here. Now, I still like our situation, right? We also have those rocks at the gate. Oh, shit. I could have hit him right here. Damn. Well, that's a little tip, right? If you're defending Saronia, unusual situation where you want to shoot the guys at the gate, that's your siege tower. Got a horde of troops here. It looks like one of those cruise lines just got off in some pretty place in Europe. There's 80,000 people of different ethnicities, all with their camera. They all have the same gear, right? They all have the spare tire from riding on a cruise for weeks, right? So they all got a beer belly or whatever. They all got that sort of polo shirt. They all got some khakis, a camera bag. They got a phone. It's very funny, human beings. For all our diversity, it's amazing how many people, it seems like they're almost the same. You guys are probably wondering if my wife and I look that. Nah, we're quite a collective. We wear unusual clothing. I actually wear what's called a sarong, and people think I'm a dipshit wearing a scarf, like in the tropics. A sarong is, well, I imagine it's like a Filipino or maybe a Vietnamese piece of clothing, tropics piece of clothing. It's a very light, almost silky thin layer of clothing that you put around your neck, and you get it wet before you leave your hotel room or wherever you are when you're overseas. Especially if you put it in a freezer, right? Get it a little moist and put it in the freezer. You put that around your carotid artery, you will be cold, or at least comfortably cool for hours, even on a 95-degree day. They're amazing. My wife taught me that. If you guys have never heard of it before, I think it's SARONG. And I run warm, right, when I go to Belize or Oaxaca or some foreign place, and it's amazing how much it helps. You guys get my random brain firing off here because I don't need to explain and narrate what I'm doing here. I'm throwing a rock. I'm going to pick up another rock. We're going to throw that rock. Guys are getting killed. We won't narrate that style. We will try to keep things somewhat lively for you. All right, Mike, we're looking a lot better in this one. The troops we have here are still ultra weak, right? Like, we have the power bar is now starting to favor us, but not by a huge margin. They're running up with, that looks like a lord. Let's snipe this gal here, or guy. Can't tell. Shot in the neck. Kill this. They're running around like they're a human player. Die. Right in the back. All right. The rest of their troops are running up. Oh, man. This is critical. How many of these we got left? Tell me we got 4 or 5 of them. Look at these troops coming up. Man, we're going to get another shot here with our catapult. Come on, baby. Don't fail me now. Well, we got a few. We got a bunch more fireballs here. They're changing angles on us. Fuck. Oh, you know what? They're changing angles on us because they're running. This siege is over. Well, that is not how I dreamed it up, fellas. I dreamed it up of winning that first fight, but victory is victory here. We will take it. Mike will take it. He's just trying to get by this situation. This is playing with no mods, right? This is playing with no RTS mods. So a vanilla experience for us here on the channel. A difficult fight to be sure. Mike, I understand why you had a hard time there, but I'm also very glad, bud, we could get you through that. Get you some athleticism, get you some skills. 62 kills. Probably got some siege skills from that. A horde of nobles here you'll be able to sell for ransom or whatever you do. Oh, man, we just loaded you up, dude. It's jackpot for Mike, right? You can either donate these troops to the garrison and get huge amounts of influence, as well as all these prisoners, or you can take as many of them as you want into your own army. Either way, you should be donating them to the garrison. But Mike, you just got rich, right? It's a video game. It's Bannerlord. I don't expect a 10% finder's fee, but you are all set, man. You're going to be able to load up on some good gear. I mean, this guy... He had 100,000, but I bet we just got 100,000 or more out of that one siege. Maybe that was 200,000 or 300,000. I'm happy to have success here, right? This was definitely a difficult challenge. Of course, at this stage, I'm saying all the normal things I say at this stage. Please subscribe if you want to see more from the channel, right? This Disasters of War series has been a lot of fun. I appreciate all the submissions, right? You guys sending these in are the only reason I have content to work on. Of course, we have other things going on, but this series has been a lot of fun. So send those to the email, that save game file to the email. Please hit that like button if you want to subscribe. I'd appreciate that. You can swing on by and see more future videos on tactics or whatever it is you want help with. And with all that said, friends, and Mike, I will see you fellas next time.
I ain't afraid to die anymore.